am I good for the colors? The other day I came there and I was like, oh, you have this gray stuff, you have this, you have that. I'd be able to enter this.
Yes, you're good. No one in prison wears that. You're definitely good. Anything that conflicts with that, so you can't wear blue in general, but also you can't wear anything that looks like blue denim, and you can't wear orange. And the kind of reason for that is if there's a lockdown or an emergency, the guards, the snipers in the tower with the guns want to be able to see who is who. So why they say you can't wear that is because if they started shooting at your class, to distinguish you from someone who's incarcerated. How many people do you have in the class now?
I mean, today I'm gonna have 10, hopefully. And it's incredible because I mean, I can assume that, dancing in the prison is something that for them is really engaging in the sense of it's a very strong gesture to go and dance in these contexts.
With the dance program, instantly, I felt a strong connection with Dimitri, and I wouldn't take anyone into prison to do this kind of work because it's not really something that anyone can do.
All of you together at the same time do da. Take some breaks. We can start accelerate a little bit, pauses to kind of have more musicality as a dialogue, right? But with the body. Let's go for it. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's be all together. We're going to introduce ourselves. Thank you, that was cool. You want a drink?
No, we're good.
No, we're good? Okay, come with us in the circle. We're going to just... Okay, guys, let's go together. We're going to start there.
So, hello everybody. My name is the other Dimitri. I am currently 27 years old. I've been incarcerated for 8 years now. We kind of started this class in the art room. I call it season 1. So season 1, we didn't really have any direction with the class. We just like, okay, we're just gonna dance. Our teacher was like, hey, we have an instructor for you. But okay, like, let's see what this is gonna be about. And then he said his name is Dimitri. I'm like, really? It was me. All right, and then here we are now, just thanks to you guys, just doing some amazing stuff.
So the beautiful thing about this particular class is, like he said, it kind of came out of a joke because dancing in prison is not a thing that I don't think anybody has ever tried to seriously do. They announce it over the intercom and it says, was it dance class or something like that? Dance class. Yeah. And we try to like really write it like in the script, like performance arts dance class. So like maybe they'll just stop at performance arts because the stigma of dancing in prison carries. It's not a masculine thing, especially amongst the prison culture.
So when I asked him when the first day that he came, I said, "So what do you specialize in?" And he was like, ballet. And he said, really, is no specialty. He really worked with everybody. That's the first thing he said. And then he said, well, really, like ballet and like kind of contemporary. And I said, for one, I couldn't understand him because it's not usual for us to hear anybody like of that accent or like that. So it was like, did I hear him right? So I asked myself, I asked my celly, Webb, I said, did I hear him right? He said, yeah, you heard him right. I said, oh, wow. So I wish you guys can hear all the things that was said about us when we started this class, because it was like, oh, y'all about to go to that class, y'all about to start twerking in there. Yeah. But when Dimitri came, because all of us kind of like, we knew how to move to a beat, a rhythm, and it was like, all right, we knew that. But when Dimitri came, he was like, boom, pow, like you have to, he said anything could be a dance. He said even a finger. I said, why didn't I think of that? Like, with the finger.
I made a promise to myself when I came back to prison, because this is my third term, but I made a promise to myself that this time was going to be different. I was gonna do things that were new to me. I was gonna do things that can teach me. I was gonna do things that would change me.
When I heard Webb and Dimitri was putting together a class, I figured this would be an opportunity, you know, just to try it out, you know, and step outside the box. And it's also opportunities just to grow, you know.
Like on the streets, like I danced with, you know, girls, but as far as dancing by myself, I couldn't do it. It was different. So I knew this was gonna be challenging. And on top of that, I just got married, so I'm like, yeah, I can learn some new moves for the wife, you know? So
Dimitri and Webb and Antonio just like throwing us out there like, just go. Like, no music and I hate dancing without no music because it feel like I ride the music and Dimitri always say, just cut the music off right now. And I used to be like, oh man. But I kept practicing and just keep practicing and I see myself getting better. I see myself being more comfortable when I dance.
When we all work together. When we work together, we playing around. We're not afraid of what other people think about us. All that tough guy mentality, we shut that off, you know? We're secure with each other. We can be vulnerable with each other. When one of us is feeling down, what's going on, man? Like, let me know what's going on. Like, we're shoulders to cry on.
First, I want to say, these brothers ain't giving themselves enough credit, man. It just ain't about dance. This a brotherhood, and they lead classes, and you got tutors in here, dudes that teach dudes education, and I'm like a popular person, so in the yard out here, I know everybody. So they be like, oh, you going to that dance class? It's like, yeah, I'm finna go bust my move.
I just really appreciate every brother in here for being here for me and for pushing me and for allowing me to become, you know, myself. And I love everybody in here.
Me too, bro.
Stop! Stop!
My name's Bidan Roy. I'm a professor at Cal State LA. I first went into prison with a dog rescue organization, and I started teaching writing classes around the dog program. What I teach really is using narrative and writing as a way to reimagine yourself, reimagine your future and who you are as a human being.
I'm a choreographer, creative director, and dancer. I started dancing when I was very little kid. I was 6 years old in the French Alps. As of today, my dance is kind of a vehicle that navigates in very different environments. Of course, theaters and stages, but also I work a lot with high fashion. I work with UN and refugee camps in Africa. And I work here in Los Angeles at the California Institute of the Arts, where I was appointed as a dean. When I met Dr. Roy and that he proposed to me to enter a maximum security prison, I was intrigued. I trusted him and trusted also the fact that my dance would offer a very different new experience.
Unit 5, cell 240. Toilet, report to medical. Unit 5, 240. Where? Report to the R room. Building 4, cell 214. Greg, report to medical. Report.
So at first, I started to question myself, why do I want to work in this environment? Why am I attached to the guys? And while thinking about that, suddenly I was like, but my work, my job is to create. And at the end of the second session, I was like, guys, why wouldn't we make a show?
Go! Stop! Go!
That's awesome. Really good, really good. That's really good. That's really good. The times, the everything. Have a drink, and we share some notes and things. But congrats, awesome, awesome. The idea of this performance is to create a piece, so meaning like going through a creation process, meaning kind of escaping, being free.
We walk in the space. Walk, run, stop, like everywhere, like pa, 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 everywhere. All of us together. You can work with like going close to someone, then walking back, then running all around, crossing the space. So it's really a moment of improvisation around walk, stop, run, different speeds. So you take time, you're into your dance, ta, 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 for a long time, but after a while you're like, ta, 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 like, not that you're dying, but it's kind of like, and then you finish, you're like doing your stuff, but finally then everybody's gonna be.
I've been incarcerated for 11 years now.
I've been incarcerated for 8 years, but I've been at this prison for 4 years.
I've been incarcerated now, going on 14 years.
I've been incarcerated for 18 years.
I'm currently serving a 34-year sentence for robbery and assault.
I'm currently serving 26 years for attempted murder.
I've been incarcerated for 12 years. I'm a lifer.
I'm in prison for robbery. I was sentenced to 16 years.
I was sentenced to 19 years.
I had a sentence of 39 years to life.
Is attracting attention. attention across the country.
3 young men were found shot to death in Compton Park late last night.
This all happened in Los Angeles County.
It's a revolutionary war now in Los Angeles.
Young American kids are arming themselves and pulling the trigger.
In the area we grew up in, it was plagued by violence. My mother was predominantly a single parent for most of my life because of my father's incarceration. My father was well known in the community that I grew up in. He was known for all the wrong things. He was a career criminal. And so I grew up in a community that ultimately praised him for being like the hustler, the guy who did wrong for a period of time until crack hit our community in the 80s. So growing up as a child, people would tell me about how my father was, you know, like just that guy. Like I wanted to be just like him. And so if that meant embracing everything that was negative about him, I was willing to do that.
My father ended up going to a federal prison when I was 3 years old. I lived with my mother. My mother was 16 when she had me. She was addicted to drugs, and she tried to take care of me for a while, but eventually my mother, she abandoned me. She left me. She gave me up.
When my mother was pregnant with me, it left a bad taste in her mouth because the guy she may have been pregnant by, he like really did her like really wrong. So she was in a domestic violence relationship the whole entire time. And having me like brought up those bad memories.
My mother gave birth to me while she was on drugs, and I think that I developed like ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD.
Ever since I remember, I had anger issues. And it came from me growing up in a domestic violence household. My biological father was not around like that. So my stepdad, him and my mother used to fight all the time. I witnessed my mother stab my stepdad before. I witnessed my stepdad hit my mom in the face constantly.
As a child, I believe like my grandmother was my mother because she was the one that was raising me. Until, one day my grandmother decided to introduce me to my mom. And, I felt like hurt, confused. My dad came around almost every day, every other day. Like he was physically abusive, verbally abusive. Out of my family, like I feared my grandfather the most because the stories I heard about him growing up, my dad had told me that he had shot at him. And so knowing that, my grandfather was capable of shooting at his own son, like it was no telling what he was capable of doing to me.
I never felt loved. I never felt like I belonged where I was at. I felt like since I was going through so much pain inside my house, I felt like I need to show the world what I was going through because I felt like nobody was helping me. I didn't feel human. I just felt like a ball of anger.
Let's go. Take the whole space. And we're gonna start. So taking the whole space is like taking the whole space. It's not like
outside.
Yeah. We're gonna roll the head to I show it once. In 20 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, go down. 8, go up, 81, 2.
Dimitri, you know, he got the trust of the guys very quickly. I could see it, you know. Part of that was, to some extent, coming in with me, but that's only a tiny part of it. The other part was how he behaved in prison. And what he did was treat people as an equal. And they were a dancer, he's a dancer.
That's very nice.
That kind of interaction is what makes the change and rehabilitation possible.
The shoulder. Sorry for that. Easy, from the shoulder, as a kind of a mechanical thing, from the inside. The air that you're moving with your arm doing this circle. So totally different again. Okay, left. Fingers.
What I love to say with the guys is that this space is our bubble. So we kind of leave at the door all of the problems, depressions, issues, everything. We leave that there, we enter this room, and it's a different space. We're gonna build this space that is gonna be a non-judgmental space, where we would be able to, each of us, kind of dive into ourselves.
Find your position here. Yeah. Take the hands of the partner there, and you start to have your weight going back. Right? Right there. Yeah. So you really take the hands and you give the weight. You use your weight, you don't use the muscles, you use your weight to the back, and that's what really good. So you spend a little time like that to alternate one and the other. That's good, guys. That's very good. Okay, great. Come on together, stand up. Like 2 feet on the floor. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, on the other side. 2 feet to one side. Up there, and it's kind of maintaining you. It makes it easy. And the whole body is just like a drop, like easy. Just have these directions from the top of your head, that's it. Okay, relax a little bit. All inside, that is. Legs are easy, muscles easy, the whole energy is here. By using the floor, you have this kind of relation like love and hate.
As I grew up and I found myself like officially roaming the streets of Compton, I took those characteristics and I tried to embody them the best way I could. Everything I loved doing, like surfing, skateboarding, things that was looked at as not a part of my culture, it was everything that I was. And so it was like I had to hide all that.
Like, my father was a really aggressive and like antagonistic person. His view of masculinity and did not include things like dancing or singing or creativity. Not being home, I could just be myself. I could do what I wanted to do.
Growing up, me and my twin, we had a teacher, and she had told us that one of us was gonna graduate from middle school and one of us wasn't. She told us one of us was gonna go to college and one of us was gonna go to jail. So at a young age, I already had the warped belief system of having a statistic or a stigma on my life, thinking that I was labeled the bad kid, that I wasn't gonna amount to nothing.
Early in my childhood, 2 of my older cousins were murdered. And I remember growing up and thinking to myself after Kiwan's murder, like I'm never gonna let no one murder me. And if that meant if I had to do something to someone else before I let them hurt me, I became a person who was willing to do that.
Eventually, I joined the gang. I started robbing people. I started carrying guns. I started doing all these things to fit in. And I left my basketball career, totally behind me.
I joined the gang when I was 14 years old. And to them, I was like the perfect person. Because I didn't care. I hated everything. I wasn't afraid to fight. I wasn't afraid to inflict violence. I wasn't afraid to hurt other people.
They had money, cars, and jewelry, and all the females, and I didn't really have things like that, so I kind of wanted that, and I felt like I wanted to join.
I ran away from home. I stole $1,000 out of my parents' drawer. I was arrested for stealing money. And it was like the first experience with going to the station and getting booked and fingerprinted. And I got put on probation for that. Unfortunately, this system is it's a trap. Ever since the age of 13, anything I do is a violation of probation and a sentence. It's always been theft, commercial burglary, residential burglary, stealing, and drugs. The drugs I never got caught for, but it was all behind drugs,
Fear was always pushing me to do more. Fear was always telling me, if you don't do this, people are gonna think this about you. And so fear showed up a lot, and if I did something wrong, shame. Shame would then lead to anger, and then anger would ultimately push me even harder.
I became a gang member at 15. By 17, I had murdered someone.
The internalization of an ideology that has been fed to young black and brown men of consumerism, violence, things like that, in neighborhoods where there's a deprivation of any resources or things like that, that you combine those two things together and it leads to what we've got right now. So I think if you give other opportunities, ways to imagine yourself in those communities, but also actual resources and possibilities to pursue, then that's how you kind of get your way out of this system.
So I show it once. I want to do, so we're going to count together from 1 to 20 to go from this to the floor. So it's 1, 2, I do it fast, but it's going to be slow. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 when you're done, and go back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1,
2, 3, 1, 2, 1.
Dance fits so well with the retelling of yourself through narrative because it's like a physical manifestation of that reimagining of the self.
Very nice, guys. Nice, awesome. Very good.
So the piece we're creating, all of the dance, all of the movement, everything comes from them. They are the authors of the piece.
Go!
We want to be able to invite people and to invite people to be there with us, watching what's going on, what you've been achieving all together. So it's really a performance that is an opportunity for people from the outside to enter this prison and to have this kind of direct relation and to be able, as I've been lucky to do that, to be able to meet those guys and to see the tremendous work they've been doing on themselves, tremendous work they've been doing in creating this piece, and to tell that a human being can change, you know?
I found myself in the midst of a gang war, and my father was in prison. I was shot at the age of 16. And at the age of 16, when I was shot, my father came home 2 months later. I refused to be forthcoming with law enforcement about who shot me. I knew who shot me. And I took my father, instructed him to go across to the neighborhood right across the way from ours. And my father told me to get out the car and to murder him. And I murdered the young man who shot me. And ultimately, me, my father, and my mother were arrested. Me and my father for the murder and my mother for related charges in regards to the investigation to arrest us.
Eventually, I participated in a murder that took the life of a young man named A young lady was shot in the foot in the process. I traumatized her. I destroyed his whole family. And at that time, I didn't even care. In my mind, I felt like I did something right.
When I was 18 years old, I met this woman named Shanice. And we clicked. We was like peanut butter and jelly. We just clicked. We were with each other for a year, and she was murdered. She was murdered by her baby's father because she wanted to be with me and not him. At that point, I spiraled out of control. I get a call one day from my cousin and saying that he was beat up really, really bad. The person who did it, and at that time, I was all that was on my mind. So 6 months after that, when we finally seen him, I had a gun with me, and I went into the apartment area where he was at. I opened the window, seen where he was at, and I fired one shot, striking him in the leg, and I fired another shot, and missing him. And I remember actually really attempting to murder him.
I met a girl named Natalie on April 10th, 2001. Her mom was murdered, brutally beaten in her house. Being the fact that I was the boyfriend, I was prime suspect off the top. The next day, I was interviewed by the police, and they asked me, what did I know? And I told them nothing. I didn't know anything. And at this time, it was the next day, I really didn't know anything. They told me they only came to me because I was the boyfriend, so I'm prime suspect, and they asked her about me, and she said she didn't have a boyfriend, yet they seen pictures of me in her room. And so it looked to them as if she was trying to hide me, cover me up from something. 9 months later, from the time of the crime, I was arrested on my way to school. I was in a holding cell for hours before they said one word to me. And when they finally came to me, it was like, you know why you're here. So they said, I'm here for the murder of Natalie's mom. They were like, well, we believe you didn't do it, but we know that she did. So tell us what we want to hear. And I wasn't willing to implicate her. They told me, well, are you willing to go to jail for her? Like, tell us what we want to hear, or you're going to go to jail for her. You'll spend about a year fighting it. Yeah, you'll get out. You'll spend about a year fighting it, though. So I told them I didn't know anything. And I didn't spend about a year fighting it. I spent 3.5 years fighting it. And then I lost in trial.
A friend of mine was robbed, and I was trying to help her get her possessions back. And the young man's friends came to his defense. And when that happened, I brandished my weapon and I took a fire, and I fired a round. And that bullet did not hit the person I intended it to hit, but it hit his best friend, and he was killed in that action. there was no going back after that moment.
It's so strange to leave the prison because it's a world that's cut off from the rest of the society. No one gets to speak to these men or hear these men's voices. And I thought, how can we have this system where we lock people up at 16 or 17 years old and we forget about them? And that system operates on a kind of assumption of dehumanization. If you just lock them up, you have to not see them as human beings.
You go through a thing called classification where they assess you and they say, okay, we're gonna send you to this prison because these factors. And they sent me to that prison because I had committed a crime at the age of 21. I was an active gang member, and this prison was like one of two of the worst prisons that anyone can go to.
A California correctional officer shot and killed an inmate.
An inmate was attacked.
For the third time this
Stabbing death of an inmate.
coordinated gang attack.
I went to Kern Valley State Prison, which was a 180 at level 4.
Level 4 prisons, all violent.
It's like the next step underneath death row in California prison system.
It's inhumane. It's like animalism.
It was just plagued by violence, drugs, and gang activity.
You couldn't kick it with dudes outside of your social circle or kick it with other races because it wasn't safe. And if you did, you was looked at as like a traitor.
When I was there, 6 people were murdered on the yard.
9 times out of 10, what happens is someone doubles down on what they're doing because it's so violent in there when you first go in. You're 16 or 17, you get further into the gang because that's your protection.
I ran with a gang, I ran with the Bloods. Like I was involved in all the politics, you know, coming into prison.
I remember going to the yard and trying to be the hardest person I could possibly be, you know, like try to be something other than myself.
I continue to have that warped mindset. I continue to be a problem. Fighting on the yard, getting into any type of violence, I was there for it. I was lost. I was numb, I still didn't care.
Fear again began to try to take hold of me. And it was trying to push me into continuing to be the person that I was that ultimately led me to prison. But I knew I was fighting that person. I didn't want to be him no more. So I didn't want to get involved in the drug activity, the gangs, or any of the nonsense. And so I just decided that, like, you know, I'll walk the yard by myself.
In gang culture and prison culture, if someone was to share that they suffer from not being loved and all these different type of things, they would be afraid of others perceiving them as weak. And as men, that's the last thing we want to be perceived as weak, because we grew up in a culture to where masculinity is shown as being strong, being aggressive, not being vulnerable, not showing your emotions. Someone gonna look at me as weak and look at me as prey. And that's the last thing we want. We want to just be valued as human beings and being treated as that.
We are almost 2 weeks from the show. The show itself is a little late and it's construction. And that's not easy, that's a little stressful and everything. But we've done an amazing job in terms of trust, positivity, desire, understanding of each other's understanding of the project. I think we're good.
I was so nervous the last 2 days because I thought we were going to be out there.
He thought we were going to dance on the yard.
We tell Mike, we got to hold on there.
Dimitri number 2. You can be Dimitri number 1.
You got swag. He was Dimitri number 1 because he's older than you. Right.
But this is true.
So look, it was crazy.
It wasn't until 5 years ago I made it down to Lancaster that I started my transition.
They have a series of point systems here. If you are over a certain point system, then you are supposed to be in a specific type of prison. Throughout that duration of time, my points changed. So one day they just came to the door and said, "Hey, Webb, you want to go to Lancaster?" And I'm like, "Lancaster's close. It's in Los Angeles County, yeah." So my points had dropped again. I was now a level 3, and they asked me to come, if I wanted to come here. So I signed the agreement, which pretty much says that you have to abolish your gang ties, which was something that I decided to do. You have to program with other races. Politics isn't a thing here.
Lancaster just opened up like a whole new world to me in regards to incarceration.
When I got to this yard, it was different. I didn't recognize the difference immediately. I just noticed that it felt safer. Everyone got along, every race played together, which is not the norm.
It was kind of like a paradigm shift. The culture of the yard was totally different from what I experienced elsewhere.
When I came to this yard, I took the opportunity to get my GED. I made sure the first thing I was able to do, the first thing I was going to do was get my GED. So now I'm just in the process of trying to succeed at something for the first time in my life instead of just allowing myself to fail.
Recently, there was an R added into CDCR. So it used to be the Department of Corrections. Now it's Corrections and Rehabilitation. I mean, I can't defend anything a lot of the guys in our program have done. They don't defend it. But they've changed, and they can change, and all human beings can change.
This culture is about self-development, progress, making meaningful relationships with people. Your progress depends on you and what you want to do.
I forgot who I was until I got down here. People started calling me by my actual name again, AJ. I forgive my mother, I forgive my grandmother, I forgive my father, I forgive them. I'm establishing relationships with them like now, and they see the change in me. And I know they're proud of me. Even my mother, she's not on drugs anymore, and she hasn't been able to articulate her love to me, but I know she loves me, and I don't hold it against her like I used to. I used to resent her so much. Like, I hated my mother. I wouldn't even call her my mom. I would call her by her first name all the time because I felt like she was responsible for everything. Like, I wasn't giving her enough credit. She was a 16-year-old girl who was addicted to drugs with a brand new baby. Then a 1-year-old, 2-year-old. I couldn't hold that against her. I had to get past that. So I got past it.
I didn't see my father again for 10.5 years. And just in July of 2008, he came to this prison. He was right across the way on B Yard, and they granted us a visit. In some way, I was expecting my father to tell me he's sorry. But he didn't verbally say it. He didn't verbally say, Tyson, like, I'm sorry for, like, you know, us being here in this situation. But he said it in every other way that he possibly could. The tears that poured down his eyes when he was able to hug me said that he was sorry. And it was just what I needed to get over some of the anger and the frustration that I held towards him. And my father sadly passed away on B Yard 6 months later. And it was tough because I had all these ideas in my mind about the way our relationship would be going forward. And so I knew that, like, I may have lost something, but it didn't amount to what I had taken. And that just kept me on this path to really try to be something in this society and within my community that brings life rather than take it.
Think about your faces. How you want to have your face being kind of closed, or how do you want it to be expressive?
They told me that they never touch each other. And every time there's a physical interaction, it's a problem. It's because of a problem.
Start to go for a little lift, like taking the body of someone else, taking the weight of someone else.
And being able to touch someone, to lift someone, to carry someone, to take care of someone physically is something for them that has been at first a challenge, but then a huge proudness. And now they love being able to do that, and they're proud about being able to interact physically on some other modes.
Dancing, being able to express myself and not caring what anybody thinks about it, it's like the best medicine for getting over the things that we had to go through.
It's like I go into this place where like everything around me disappears. The gates, the barbed wire fences, they're not there. And I'm just like dancing and I'm just moving and I'm happy and I'm joyful. I'm free.
My mom used to always tell me when I was like growing up, when she used to call me on the phone, she's like, keep smiling, you have a pretty smile, you have a beautiful smile. And I used to be like, ain't nothing to smile about. I started smiling again. Like, once I found my smile, it was like a brand new day, every day.
The men in prison in our program shouldn't be seen as these people to be feared that are going to come out and commit a load more crime, but actually these assets that can come out and repair and heal the community in a way that no one else can do. They're uniquely qualified to do that.
The person that I've become now, that I am to this day, I'm proud of. I want to do everything and anything I can to be a different and better person.
This dance class is the best thing that's ever happened in my whole life. It's the best thing because it's helped my transition. It's helped me become a different person on the yard. Even when people see me on the yard, they're like, hey, AJ, what's up? What's going on? Hey, man, how you doing? I feel free. I feel happy again. I feel like a human.
Young men that are looked up to, that have a kind of certain status on the yard that are doing that, it allows others to think, maybe I can be like that. You can be masculine and still do this. And so it just expands the narrative of possibilities on a prison yard when you add more modalities of expression in.
It's toy! It's toy! Santonio!
My brother Antonio Toy, man.
You in my picture.
Trying to leave behind a legacy of positivity, of growth, you know? And that's all I can do to try to give back to my community, to make amends, you know?
So hopefully we'll leave behind a culture that is kind of like shedding this idea of like this toxic masculinity and what that is. And it allows people to just be free.
Like I see myself in them and they see their self in me and I see their struggles. They've been like compassionate and considerate of me. And so it showed me like the humanity in them and the ability of other people to love me. It just made me more receptive to love as well as made me want to love more.
All right, guys, let's go. Last run before the show.
Stop moving, or you will be sprayed. No moving. You are resumed. Away from the showers. Away from the red line. Clear the outway. Roll away from Mexico. Clear the outway. 34. Tail 201. Get. Report to the program office. Building 5. Tail 240. Good.
Then it goes to drum, like percussions and you. Then everybody goes. Then we are at the section go and freeze, like or fast and block, as you want to call it. We go to the free thing, meaning that you're in the line and you go and you do your dance, and another one goes, and then everybody's into his own dance. I was asked the other day why I was there in the prison, and I had this answer. That was in a way, the meaning was in a way that the type of relation, the type of presence, the quality of the exchange, the kind of profoundness, the honesty. Also what I've learned from how someone can be someone else, how you can, with time, desire, energy, support, how you can be a better person. And anyway, I told them I learned so much from you in parallel of having a ton of fun. The time we have together, guys, is precious to me. Yeah, exactly. Because we need to have some other energies coming also. We'll see. But it's great. That's gonna be.
All of it.
Yeah?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let me tell you once more. Walk, runs, in the space. Then from there you start, boom, boom, boom. Then you arrive, pam, boom, pam. Then from there you start 10 on the table, da da da, all that sequence. Then from there so this, keep it some time. And use what we just did, that you can move when you're up there, you can move. That can be nice at the same time as you say the thing.
Okay.
Then at some point you go down. When you hit the ground, it's like go! And like everybody goes like fast, 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 fast. Stop, boom, freeze, lock. Go! So you play with that.
Okay.
Let's go, ba, 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 and freeze. And he's
On
playing
his-
with that.
Okay.
And then after that we die slowly? Or do we go to freestyle first?
No. After that, you go into the line.
Oh, into the line. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would help if you could help gauge us at like
Yes.
what's maximum and what's
Yeah. The fast is the maximum.
Okay.
Didn't you say in the beginning we could just fill the space as well? We don't have to, like one person could be slower
Can be
and...
walk.
Okay,
The beginning,
yeah.
So empty space. The beginning, you can just enter. It's long. It's long. We never get bored with you guys. I mean, seriously. Okay, so we start empty space. We take it from the top. Yes.
Big as shit.
I miss you, man.